Alright, welcome back to another Recon video, and today we're looking at stage 3 of the WTRL Zwift Racing League, and for the first time we're over on Mercury Islands for the Flatlands loop. Now, is it flat? Not quite, and the bit of a draggy rolling climb that we've got is bookended by 2 sprints, so we're going to take a look at that in a bit more detail. We've got 2 different distances, A and B. You're going to be covering 39 kilometers, and C and D riders, it's 26.4. So let's dive into the Recon and have a look at this route in a bit more detail. So as always guys, at the end of the video I'm going to give you those predicted race times and also tell you how to access those course notes. But just before we get into the course in a bit more detail, please, if you haven't already, I really appreciate if you could just scroll down, give it a quick thumbs up and like this video. And if you don't mind, give it a quick subscribe as well. Give the channel a quick subscribe and you can keep up to date with all the latest Recon rides and some of my riding out in the real world too. We've got some gravel riding and off-road stuff coming up over the winter, which would be fantastic. And I hope that we'll hit 1,000 subscribers this month or even this week as well. So really appreciate those guys who've done that already. Now, as always guys, we're going to be really going into the detail of this course, where you can maximize the points. So we'll look at those primes and those sprint points. So we've got 2 sprints. We've got the countryside sprint, 130 meters short and sharp, 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds on this particular sprint. And again, we've got the second sprint, which is the village sprint. Another short, fast, snappy sprint, followed by a descent all the way to the finish line on that last lap if you're going to be competing for those finish line points as well. But as I've said, it isn't particularly flat. Just take a look at this Strava profile here as well. And it's at the foot of this peak and at the top of this peak, if that's the right way of putting it, where we have these sprints. So let's get out on course and take a look. Alright, so I am going to flash through this first 5 kilometers because it's fairly boring. Well, we know Zwift starts aren't boring, but it is going to be a typical fast Zwift start for sure. But this first 5 kilometers is really flat. In fact, it's a little bit downhill as we approach that first sprint. Now we're going to come to that first sprint, which is the country sprint. Said again, it's 130 meters long, so it is short. The pace will be up at this point because I do expect the majority of the group to be together at this point. So this is going to be a competitive, fast sprint for these early points. Now the sprint itself, really short, really snappy. You do get a good view and a good run in for the section here. Now there's a little bus stop just on the right hand side that will pass here that's about 100 to 150 meters before the segment actually starts, where we have this little green line across the road on the left hand side. And as I said, it's an absolute guns blazing, head down charge for that finish line 130 meters later to claim those fastest through and first across the line points. Now again, I do expect the fastest through points to be done and dusted on this first lap. It's not impossible to pick them up later, but I think the group is going to be really quite large as we come into this first sprint section here as well. So this is where you're going to get those fastest through points. Alright, so immediately after this country sprint, we've got a flat section until we get to the first village at around about the 6.5 kilometer mark. Now it's immediately after the village that the gradient starts to change and we start to go onto this rolling climb section up towards the village. It's about a 5-minute section. It's about 4.5 kilometers this section, but it is a grind. It is rolling. It does peak up to about 5% at some point. So if you're a Zwifter out there with a great 5-minute power, this is where I would be putting the pressure on if I want to whittle the group down, reduce the size of that peloton, and maybe try and get rid of some of them out and out sprinters. So this is going to be the tough section of the race, and of course we're going to be doing this 2 or 3 times respectively. So hold on, dig deep, get yourself to this top of this climb, and that's when you can compete for that first village sprint before we get some recovery hopefully and head down and cross that start finish line for lap 2 or 3. Alright, so here we are heading towards the village sprint. Here, as you can see, we're heading to the village. You've got this little left right before we head to the sprint. Now you will see the green banner pop up on the map pretty early, which is great, but again, very short, very fast. It's this first lap again where I think you're going to pick up the fastest through segment. So that's where I think the group is going to be the biggest, and you can really sprint through the group to maximize that speed. And again, this effort is going to be less than 10 seconds in most cases for that fastest through segment. So dig in, push on, maximize those points, and get plenty of teammates across that line in the top 10. Now again, immediately after this sprint, it's flat, it's downhill, and we go past the big hand on the right hand side here, and we head towards the start finish line to start lap 2 and 3. So in terms of sprint distances for lap 2 and 3, I'll just pop those up down here as well. Alright, so what about the finish line? You want to take the glory of the overall stage, right? Well, here we go. It's a downhill, it's fast. Now, before you get to the sprint, if the group is big enough, you will be able to super tuck down this descent towards the finish line. And it's actually the pens. You'll see the pens coming up on this left-hand side here that I'll use as a marker to reference the finish line. The finish line isn't too easy to see on this particular course. So the pens on the left, when you pass them, you have around about 250 meters to go. So absolutely, you should be in full beast mode, full sprint mode at this point, ready, arms in the air, and take that victory. Alright, so there's 3 power-ups that we're going to be looking at today. Aero, absolutely ideal for this, whether you're using it at the finish line or for those sprints. Really maximize that aero power-up to get the fastest through segments, or just first across the line, or even both if you can maximize those as well. That would be amazing. You've got the draft, which would be fantastic again on that drag, or the descent. Chill out, take a break, hit the draft, reduce your power, save some energy, ready for those sprints. And then we have the feather, and as I said, there's a reason why the feather's here. That is a little bit of a drag between those 2 sprints. It's a 4K rolling road, so use it wisely. Do not hit that button on the descents because you'll see yourself going out the back. But maximize those power-ups. There's 3 opportunities to get them through the sprint sections, and of course when you cross that start-finish banner. Alright, so in terms of bike choice, dead simple. Just go for the most aero setup you can at your level. If you've got the Tron, absolutely use the Tron. Level 33, you've got this new Scott RC. I think I said it was 32. It's actually level 33, so I'm a little bit off that yet, but that's one to look for. And again, you've got the Cervelos, you've got the Specialized, you've got Canyon Aero as an option as well. What I'll do is I'll leave a link down below for the Zwift Insider pages. There's a plot graph and there's some other tables in there to help you select the most aero bike and wheels that you can get at your level. Go aero all the way. Alright, so let's take a look at the points. Of course, we've got those first across, or those finish line points, should have said, at the end of the race. So those are here right now. And now let's take a look at these points available for the segments. In this particular race, it's the sprint segments. So we've got the first across the line, which is awarded to the first 10 riders across the line of each segment. So in this case, you'll either be passing it 2 or 3 occasions. And then we've got the fastest through segments. And again, the fastest through segments gives a maximum points of 20 points. That's for the whole race, so plenty of points to maximize here. And do remember, it's a team event, so it's about those cumulative points throughout the whole race that's going to put your team to the top of that table. So as always guys, there are plenty of opportunities to ride this circuit in the Flatlands Loop before the event on Tuesday. In fact, why not come and ride the Racing Without Borders event, which is on Friday evening, 7 PM British summertime. I'm going to be going over to that event. I'm going to be live streaming the event over on YouTube as well. So come and ride with me, come and race with us on the Flatlands Loop Racing Without Borders on Friday evening. And also you've got the events on Saturday with Team Electric Spirit. They're doing their weekly Recon ride as well, and I'll leave a link to both of those events down in the description below. Now immediately afterwards you're going to see the race times flash up on the screen, but thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, please share, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday evening for another ZRL.